Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Virtual Reset. I'm going to give a few minutes for the feed to kick in and for us all to welcome ourselves and settle into our space. Welcome to your Wednesday morning practice. If you have a blanket at home, anything will do, a blanket from your couch or a throw or even a towel folded up will work just fine to sit on or pat ourselves from the floor. Grateful to be here with you. Let's see. Great. So my name is Maggie, and I'm streaming here from Cleveland, Tennessee, and I'm excited to be here. I want to give thanks to Ro and the Girls Dance community for showing up in practice for themselves and also for all of us, for the world. Happy to be a part of this community. So if you've got a blanket that you want to sit on, or folded towels or anything, we'll start with a bit of seated meditation and some movement here. So you're welcome to fold the blanket, take a comfortable seat on it wherever works for you. I'm in my basement here, and I've got this little corner set up for my practice, and so I encourage you to make whatever space in your home is accessible for you, make it into your practice space. So even if that means just kind of push some things around in your room or in the living room, and invite all of the parts of your home life, your family, roommates, whoever it is, kind of running around and listening to the sounds of your house waking up 6 a.m. this morning. And invite all of that into your practice. Today, as you take a comfortable seat on your mat, you can cross your legs any way that feels comfortable for you. You can kind of take the legs a little bit further away from you. You can even bring the soles of your feet together to touch if this kind of larger diamond shape feels more comfortable. Or cross your shins. And as you get comfortable, today our practice is going to focus on the resilient spine. And it is a historical day. The day that we're streaming this is the day that the first ever Black Indian American woman will be sworn into the office of Vice President. And so in the way that we practice this morning, for all of us, this is hopefully a brightening of the minds of young girls and women everywhere to see greater possibility for themselves and their friends in the world, and greater possibility in celebrating gives us oftentimes a rise from within, a bit more energy, some upliftment, and in that way today we'll be working on kind of emulating that in our spine. So even as you take your first seat, you can kind of rock side to side or get comfortable. Think about lifting up and rising up from inside with a bit more inspiration, especially if you just crawled out of bed or it's early in the morning. And we'll settle in for a few rounds of deep breathing and some gentle warm-up for our spine. And I invite you, eyes open or closed, whatever you're comfortable with, to keep lifting yourself up gently from within. And if it's possible, to feel your breath supporting that lift and length in the spine. Even if it's something of the imagination right now. Imagine your inhale as it draws into the body through your nose, your mouth, actually helping to lift and lengthen your spine, to elongate your entire torso. And as you exhale, as your muscles soften and your breath releases, imagine your spine staying resilient and long. Take a couple rounds here, utilizing this imagination or even visualization, if that works for you, to inhale, and as the breath goes in, imagine, visualize your torso getting longer, maybe even expanding side to side or front to back with a full breath in. And keeping that resilience, exhale and let all your breath out. It's a simple breathing exercise. It helps us practice mindfulness and presence with each inhale, feeling your body change shape, lengthening, expanding slightly. And with each exhale, holding on to that softly as you let the breath go. As we take a few more rounds of this kind of resilient breathing, as Rose said yesterday or Monday in her meditation, your thoughts will come and go. So I invite you to paint some pictures with your thoughts this morning. As you sit here for this opening, centering, meditation, see yourself resilient. See yourself within the brightening of new possibility. It's a new day. Perhaps even visualize one thing you are excited about today. See yourself rising up to the occasion of a new day, greeting your friends, loving your family. And as you visualize this, painting these pictures in your mind, imagine yourself with this tall, resilient spine, rising up from within and holding you steady. It's natural for your thoughts to come and go. Again, for you to hear the sounds around your house or outside. So welcome yourself back with this next inhale. And one more time, we'll lift and lengthen our spine, expanding side to side, front to back, with a deep breath in. And softening, yet keeping this resilience with a full breath out. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed if they are. We'll start moving into some warm-ups for our spine and to get our body moving. So as you're ready, on your exhale, bring your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Stretching open gently through the left side of your neck. Take a deep breath in and out. Eyes open or closed, resilient spine. Slowly draw your chin down towards your chest. This starts to stretch out the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders, so you may even want to draw your shoulders back slightly or round them forward slightly. Keep lengthening out through your head. You may find some crunchy places from however you slept on your pillow or your shoulders last night. Take a deep breath into the back of the shoulders, the back of the neck. Place behind your heart. Even connecting here to your resilient spine. On your next exhale, bring the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Getting a gentle stretch to the right side of your neck this time. Breathing in and out. Eyes open or closed. But same resilient breath. And then on your next inhale, draw your head back up to center. Notice how it feels to come back up to center and roll your shoulders. You can roll them forward and back, and then back and forward. And then try one at a time. It's getting a little bit more groove into your spine. Instead of holding it straight up, now you can let it kind of undulate a little bit as you roll your shoulders, maybe going in the opposite direction, and notice how that feels to move your spine side to side a little bit. We'll add more to this in a few minutes. See if you can bring that freedom up into your neck, just like you were doing ear to shoulder, shoulder to ear. You can even go side to side gently with your neck. And then come back again to center. Once again, a resilient and tall spine. And just for some feedback, it helps to give myself a reminder. You can bring one hand to the top of your chest, and then one hand, slide it back behind your low back. Right? It's kind of right where your sweatpants kind of meet up. And the back there's the kidneys and your lower back, and oftentimes this is where maybe some of our tiredness or heaviness starts to settle in after sitting on the computer all day, or even just waking up early in the morning, and you might find yourself kind of rounding a little bit. And so this hand on your chest and hand on your low back can give you a nice reminder to rise up from within. I know I've heard the instruction, sit up straight, so many times throughout my life from my grandma, my parents, and my teachers, and it actually does help to send a message up into the base of your brain, this little nerve bundle called the reticular formation, and it tells your brain to pay attention. Literally like a brightening of your mind from inside your brain. So with your hand on your chest and your back, see if you can remind yourself, and then remind your brain, to pay attention, to brighten your mind. Take a deep breath in. Expand your chest into your hand, and maybe even think about expanding your back, the back of your lungs, the back of your heart, the resilience of your spine, with a deep breath into your hand on the back of your body. This hand position can be a great reminder throughout the day to come back to your resilient spine, to brighten your mind, and possibly stay awake, alert, and pay attention to what's happening around you and within you. One more breath. Great, and then a couple more things here to wake up our spine while we're in the seated position. From here, you're going to take your arms out to the side. On an inhale, stretch the arms all the way up. And this may be a little bit easier to find the lift of your spine. As your arms move up, you might even lift your gaze if it feels comfortable in your neck. Take 2 deep breaths here. And even as you reach up, stretch up, settle into the place where you touch the ground. You can even rock side to side so you get a little heavier, more grounded and connected to the earth underneath you. Keep all of that, and then exhale, let your arms come down. The breath releases, but still you hold on to that resilient long spine. We'll take 3 more like that. Inhale, stretch up, reach up, maybe look up if it works for you, and exhale. Let the arms float back down. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Final one. Inhale. We'll hold here. Again, root down into the ground, stretch up, reach up, and then take your right hand, bring it to your left knee as you twist to the left. Left hand can come down behind you. If it touches the ground easily, that's great. Or again, you can slide the left hand back behind you in the back body where your kidneys are, where you had the hand earlier. And remember to breathe back there as you twist. Take a few natural breaths here, letting your spine be resilient from inside. You might even twist your neck if it's comfortable to bring your chin over your left shoulder, gazing over to the left. Take one more breath and really anchor again down into where you touch the ground. And then use that grounding inhale, arms back up, back to center, stretch up, reach up, maybe even look up. We'll hold here for another round of breathing, opening up through the upper back. And then the left hand comes to the right knee, right hand behind you. Twist to the second side. As you're waking up your spine early in the morning, or if you're doing this later in the day, it can still be nice to, again, take ear to shoulder, stretching out, opening up through the neck. Again, instead of forcing your spine to stay tall and strong, think about supporting this resilient spine or the length from inside. Even again, imagining your breath helping to lengthen your spine, to fill out the back of your lungs, as well as the sides of your ribs and lungs. Imagining or painting the picture that your breath could actually saturate your whole body. It is bringing fresh oxygen into every cell. We'll spend a few more breaths here, and again, you may even take your chin and direct it over your right shoulder as you twist. Two more breaths. And then we'll saturate our body again with fresh oxygen and inhale to come back to center. Take the arms up, stretch up, reach up. And then exhale, arms down by your side. And then once again, roll the shoulders and move the spine around. So last thing we'll do here in a seated position, and just to give our legs and our hips a break, you can stretch your legs out, roll your toes, wiggle your ankles, kind of windshield wiper your feet side to side. And then we're going to cross our legs in the opposite direction. So again, if you had your feet together with a wide diamond, then you can just take that shape as well again. But if you had your legs crossed, see if you can figure out which way the shin was in front. And if you go side to side, one of them probably feels a bit more awkward, like you don't do it as much, right? It may actually even be one of the first times you ever crossed your legs with that opposite shin in front, right? And I love firsts. Today's a big first, right? And firsts can oftentimes feel kind of awkward. So that may be how you know if you didn't pay attention or you don't know which leg was in front last time. Go with the awkward one, okay? And then settle your hips back down to the ground, kind of rock side to side. And this next exercise we're going to do, I know you've done, if you've been joining these virtual resets, it's a cat-cow position, but we're going to be doing it seated instead of all fours. Right? So the idea, I'll give you a little side view here. The idea is to take your spine from this rounded position as you even rock back onto kind of the back of the sits bones, or the two bones in the bottom of your pelvis. Rounding here, the shoulder blades draw away from one another, and the front of your heart even moves closer to the back of your heart. And then take that into a big arching back bend so that the front of your heart comes forward and the shoulder blades go back and you might look up. That area in your back body really starts to draw inward to get a big curve in your low spine. And then exhale, round, and inhale, draw the shoulder blades back, arch your spine. So you get to go at your own pace. Exhale all your breath out and round back. Inhale, lift the chest, draw the shoulder blades back. And go between those positions a couple times. If crossing the legs doesn't work for you, you can always take your feet out, hands onto the fronts of the knees, and do your seated cat-cow this way, especially if maybe your feet or your ankles are starting to fall asleep, or you just want a little bit more space in your legs. Inhale. Shoulders draw back. You can start to feel a big lift in the chest here. And exhale, round. Shoulder blades widen so there's lots of space for the back of the ribs, back of the lungs. Inhale up and exhale back. So we'll go a couple more times here with your own breath. This is another great reset practice if you're at the computer all day, if you're reading a lot, if you're having to sit at work or at school. You can do this even seated in your chair, just to bring a bit more resilience and remembering of a long, tall spine that helps you brighten the mind, helps you stay alert, awake, and aware. We'll take a few more, and you're welcome to even explore if you want to go a little bit more to the right side and then up through the chest, and a little bit more to the left side and then back. Making little, again, undulations or a little bit more free flow movement in the spine. You're welcome to try that out. Get some long side body stretches, but also helps to move the shoulders, the hips, and to add a little bit more freedom in the core of the body. Two more. Inhale and exhale. Great, and then come back to center. Take a moment and notice, and when you come simply back to sitting, how it feels to hold your spine up. Again, you can remind yourself with one hand on your chest, one hand on your back. Maybe getting easier to hold yourself upright as you wake up more. And then we're going to do a similar shape but for our hips. So you can move the blanket out of the way, bring your hands behind you, feet down onto the ground. Tap your feet a little bit if, again, your feet started to fall asleep, and then you'll simply take some windshield wipers with your knees, back and forth. Just opening up again the sides here, the waist, and even still getting a little bit of twist into our hips. Windshield wiper, the knees side to side, one more time to each side. And then we'll take a gentle release for our legs. So we've had them crossed for quite a while, or at least bent knees. So stretch your legs out. They can be as wide as you need. And again, kind of rock side to side. And then gently stretch your spine forward reach your spine forward, stretching out through the back of your legs, the back of your waistline. And it's common to get, again, if you reach back there, that round in the low back. See if you can remind yourself to keep a long, resilient spine, even as it gets more difficult in this forward fold where the back of our hips, the back of our legs might be a little bit tight. You can use your hands next to your legs on the ground, spread the toes, and once again, imagine for 3 more breaths that your inhale helps to lift and lengthen the spine, not just your effort. Keep that lift, that length, even as you exhale. And then on your last exhale, you're welcome to draw your chin down to your chest, bow slightly through the head, really extend long through the spine. And then walk yourself back up. Okay, come down onto your bellies. So as you come down onto your belly, you can come onto your elbows if it's comfortable, or stack your forearms, and you can place your forehead down. Bend your knees, and then we're gonna do the same thing, but just on our bellies, windshield wiper the knees side to side. So now we're giving our low back, the back of our hips, a little bit of that free movement, rocking side to side. It may take a couple breaths for your body to settle into this belly down position. And take a few breaths here and just simply let your feet rock side to side. Keep going with your breath. I'm just going to check in up here. Great. As you rock your legs side to side, now bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Your hands next to your ribs. And you're going to once again roll your shoulders. So the head can be facing down, gaze facing down, and simply roll your shoulders onto your back. Push down into the tops of your feet and the hands, and once again use your inhale to lift and lengthen your spine. Draw your shoulder blades towards one another like you were doing that big arch in your spine when we were in seated cat-cow. And use the resilience of your back muscles to lift up through your spine. Lengthen out through the top of your head and breathe. It's a version of cobra pose. So imagine like a snake, your spine is getting longer along the floor as you inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, lower. 5 more with your breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. See if you can even breathe into the upper part of your chest, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Even think about breathing into the back of your lungs, the waistline. Take your time with your breath, inhaling, lifting and lengthening, exhaling, lowering. We'll do 2 more. If you lost count, no worries. Take 1 more full breath in. Lift and lengthen, draw your shoulder blades back. Exhale, lower. And then you'll push down through your hands. Knees can stay on the ground. Round your hips to your heels, child's pose. And again, you can stack your forearms. Give your forehead a place to rest. And here we're stretching out all those muscles we just used to lift and lengthen our spine and add resiliency. Take a few breaths here, releasing that effort. If your hands are outstretched, push your hands into the ground and reach your hips back to your heels. Feel free to widen your knees or even rock your spine, again, side to side, bringing some of that fluidity and freedom into your torso. Take 3 more breaths here, countering all of that strength building we just did and the muscles along your spine. And then after your final breath, walk your hands back. Coming back up, you can keep your shins tucked underneath you, or if that's not comfortable with your knees, take another moment. You can sit cross-legged. If it helps, that reminder of one hand on the chest and one hand behind you. Check back in with your resilient spine with this upward lift from within. And then to get all the way flowing with this, for our final standing poses, we'll come up to standing and we'll put all of these things together. So a bit of resilience, the lift of the spine, but also we're going to challenge ourselves, maybe again to do something new or a little awkward, and find the resilience and also the lightness, the brightness of your mind in our balancing posture. So step your right foot forward, left foot slightly back. You're going to want to make sure that whatever you have going on in your house, you've got room to lift this leg back behind you. And as you take this is a version of, or a shortened version of Warrior One pose. So the right foot is forward, left foot is back. Your hips are square, and your feet are wide, like they're on train tracks, right? So really stable base. And then from here, you can, again, bring your hand to your chest as a reminder to keep lifting up, breathing up, imagining your inhale, lifting and lengthening out through your spine. And then from here, you're going to shift your weight onto your right foot, lift up onto the ball of your left foot, that's the back foot. So already you're shifting more of your weight onto your right foot. You're going to keep going with that, lift the left leg back. We start moving towards our Warrior Three pose. So bring that fierceness but brightness of spine and breath into your shape. And then you can play with keeping your chest moving forward and your left leg moving back. Now there's definitely going to be some wobbles and some, movement around. Notice how you catch yourself, how you adjust. Even if it means the foot comes down and then you come back onto the right leg and try again. This is what resiliency looks like in practice. Again and again, rising back up. Eventually the left leg may lift up as the chest extends out, and then you can add your arms, reaching out like you're trying to hey friend, let me hold you up. If you're practicing with anyone in your family, you can even hold hands or push into each other's hands for balance. And then arms can also go out to the side like airplane wings or the wings of an eagle. Take a couple more breaths. The right leg may start to get tired. You can always ground yourself and then come back again. You can play with the hand on the chest, hand on the back, and see if you can even breathe with that same full expansion and resiliency. We'll take 3 more breaths on this first side. Right leg strongly rooted into the ground. Any version of Warrior Three, like airplane pose. And then bring the left foot back down if it's not already. And come back. Stand on your own 2 feet. And then you can roll the shoulders, wiggle out the right leg, release that effort. Second side. So now you learned a lot on the first side. However, the second side is always different, right? So your left leg may feel a little bit more grounded, or it may feel a little weaker than your right. You never know. So get yourself ready. Set yourself up by stretching out through the left foot, really planting the weight into the left foot, and start to shift your weight forward. So really push down, connect into the ground underneath you. You can always reach out to a wall or a piece of furniture if you don't have a friend's shoulder to hold on to. Now you know where you're going, so when you're ready, start to lift the right leg back behind you. And then notice what works for you. Does it help to have one hand on your chest, maybe one hand on your belly or the back body to remind you to breathe, to remind you to keep imagining your breath helping you lift and lengthen out through the spine. The tendency with our wobbles may be to kind of crumple up and bend the knees. So see if you can maybe even use your arms to extend out, expand out, and remind yourself to stay long and resilient. Or again, you might like stretching forward, like you're reaching again towards the possibilities in front of you. Or you're going to reach forward like you're greeting your best friend. Again, let yourself come back in and out of this shape as many times as you need, readjusting, recalibrating, trying again and again. This is how we build resilience. Meeting the awkward, wobbly moments again and again. We'll take 3 more breaths here. So any version of this Warrior 3 that works for you, take your time. Enjoy your deep, full breaths. Even if it's imagining your balance. One more breath. And then reground your right foot. And once again, give yourself the freedom to move, maybe roll the ankle or shake out that left leg. And then come back down into a seated position. So we start to close out our practice today, and as you come back down into a seat, once again, fingertips back behind you, feet on the ground, windshield wiper your knees side to side. So we come back to a shape that we did earlier. Notice if anything's shifted. Maybe your legs feel a little bit tighter or more alive. Your left thigh may still be burning from the standing posture, that warrior posture. But part of what the yoga practice of asana, these postures we're doing, and meditation, which we'll do in a moment to close, part of what that invites us into is, again, paying attention or greater awareness of what's going on inside of us, as well as gives us the ability to pay attention to what's going on around us with greater awareness, with greater resilience. And so observing how your practice feels, what feels the same, what feels different, cross your legs, coming back again to a seated position. And you can sit on your blanket if you wish. We'll be here just for a moment before we go on to our backs. But you may, once again, check back in with this whole long spine, sit up straight thing, posture that we hear all the time. And notice how it feels to hold yourself upright after activating your core muscles, the front body and the back body. After letting yourself kind of roll and wiggle and open up a little bit more fluidity in the shoulders, in the spine. And after saturating your body with deep breaths and fresh oxygen, simply take a moment and notice, eyes opened or closed. Notice how your body feels. Perhaps there's a sharpness of mind, or you can hear yourself thinking more clearly, even if it's simply, again, observing what you're hearing around your house. For our final meditation, we'll come onto our backs. You're welcome to stay seated there if you want to stay upright and keep your mind or thoughts bright, or you're welcome to lay down onto your back. You can windshield wiper your knees side to side as we did as we were seated. And then here, place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your chest. Your knees can come towards one another, or if you want, extend your legs long all the way out. If you're still seated, again, you can place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your chest. And we'll take a few deep breaths here. And as you notice the sounds around you, consciously or on purpose, pay attention to your inhale and your exhale. Focus your mind and your thoughts on this fluctuation or this kind of wave of breathing. A simple style of meditation, giving your mind one point to focus on, is another great reminder throughout the day to pay attention to your inhale, which naturally uplifts you, inspires you from inside, and your exhale, which helps us soften, release. Inhaling and exhaling, and notice how it feels in your body, how you're thinking in your mind. Breath in and breath out. You are welcome to stay here as long as you have the opportunity today, whether you're seated or lying down. You can count your breath and be giving yourself 10 full deep breaths to simply let the effort release from your body and connect to each breath as it comes and goes. May this practice and all of your practices anchor you to the resilience of your own heart, to the brightening of your own mind, and to all the possibilities that come when we move, share, and connect from this place of deep reverence and also aliveness within us. Thanks for spending your time connecting to your breath, to your resilient spine, to the brightness of your mind this morning. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. And again, great thanks for Ro and the entire community of Girl Stance Chattanooga. I'm happy to be here. If you're on your back and you want to stay there, or rise up, coming back up into a seat. May you bring this brightness of mind and resilience of spine, fullness of breath into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. And my name again is Maggie. MW Exhale Love is my Instagram handle. I would love to connect and stay connected as we practice together. Enjoy whatever your day brings you, and reach out if you have any thoughts, questions, or feedback. I am here. Peace and love from within. Enjoy, y'all.